Karibuni sana to TSAVO. TSAVO, we are a real estate investment company. Sorry, we had a technical issue with the audio. Karibuni sana TSAVO, we are a real estate investment company and we exist to enable you achieve financial independence through affordable, amazing apartments. And today we are really excited that we'll be having a conversation on how to Christmas, avoiding Christmas money mistakes that some of us, for years and years, it's been like a cycle, and it's time to break that cycle. My name is MC Benmego, the classic man, a fire partner here in TSAVO. And before we go any further, I'd like us to bow down for a word of prayer. So Heavenly Father, we thank you for a good evening that we have to share on how to Christmas and money mistakes that we can avoid during these festivities. I pray the Lord, this webinar, the information that we're going to share is going to be of value to everyone who gets to watch this. And I pray for all our investors and the Savorite community that you will bless us and keep us even during these festivities. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen. Once you land, please make sure that you drop your fire emoji and let us know where you're listening us, you're watching us from. And today, I just want us, we have a candid conversation. Let's exchange ideas. Let's share stories of how maybe you've spent bad, you lost money, maybe during the Christmas season, because it is a time of making merry and a time of reflecting. You know, the year has been quite a year, we will say, with rise in taxes, with many people getting laid off from their jobs and all that. And given that it has been an year where we've also won, December is always a time when we want to really, you know, take some time, breathe, and friends. And so December is quite a year that has been known. Just to start us off, maybe you can tell me, what are some of the bad money decisions that you've made before, you're planning to, to make during these festivities? You know, some people are really having big plans. Maybe umeamua, this year I have suffered. And there's a popular adage that has been going on for a while now, I think almost a year, that if your money cannot do this, eat that money. Jipatie, patia mwili pole. And that is something that has become quite popular in Kenya, but if you're a Savorite on fire, ama if you're on your fire journey, these are some of the things that will lead to address tonight. So to start us off, I think we're going to look at some of the things that, and today I carried a lot of notes, just to help us really get an understanding of what we are dealing with. Because sometimes we just assume that the spending that we normally spend is not scientific. And research has shown how we have been wired to really make purchases, especially during Christmas. And this concept is what is called consumerism. So tonight we'll be looking at the psychology of Christmas spending. We'll be looking at some of the common money mistakes, which we'll be getting to share. And then we'll also be looking at some of the science behind forming habits, and more specifically financial habits. Also, we'll be giving practical strategies on how you're going to make fire-friendly Christmas strategies. So to start us off, do you realize that the society has had a lot of pressure, especially on you, when it comes to Christmas? Christmas is a time when we know you're supposed to get a new set of clothes. You're supposed to maybe buy something big, whether it's a property. You're supposed to reward yourself great. And it has always been a conflict, because sometimes you really don't have money, but the society puts pressure on you. So, and most of the families that we have been born into, it has been a culture that we have to meet during Christmas. And so during this time is when people expect to see, okay, we have been away from each other for a whole year. So what are some of the changes that I expect to see from you? So there's always that pressure. This time your sister comes with a TX, the next time someone has a Benz, the next time this one comes and says, oh, now my child is in an international school. Well, yours is going to a local polling station, as Kenyans love to call it. And so there's a lot of pressure when it comes to December. And the good or the bad thing is most people succumb to this pressure. Wacha nikwambie, pressure iko hii Kenya. Like you just feel like, now, for instance, we have the latest, the biggest brands that sell mobile phones. So you'll find that a lot of people are under pressure because when you show up and you have your Kadunda or your Bonoford, people will be like, okay, we thought, what's up with your life? And in a big way, we've been taught to look at people, what they have, and really judge where they are at in life. And the interesting thing when you're on your fire journey, the understanding has to be different. We start with altering how you think about money and how you see money. Because true change will only start there. When you begin by changing your paradigm shift when it comes to money, that's the only time you're going to have real financial change in your life. And looking at how consumerism has been wired, and more specifically for us during these times of the festivities, I'm going to take us on a journey to really understand how consumerism has come to be. And there has been projections that in the coming decades that income growth, every time we are in a new fiscal year for the government, you'll hear budgets have been read, and they will predict the income that we're going to get. And economists know that income is equals to expenditure, investments, exports, imports, and much more, and consumption. And so you will find that consumerism or consumption has been really factored even when the government is calculating the total income, GDP and such. And so we've gotten to a place where people really crave for stuff. And most of the people, especially here in Kenya, they feel like if I don't have this, I'm lacking in something. And follow me closely because I'm going to show you how consumerism has been wired. Since we were small, and maybe for some who are older, maybe it has not been like that. And we have grown to really think about things like we work for stuff. For instance, if you take a look and just take a look at your house, and you've been working this whole year. Now, if I were to ask you a question, what is it that you have to show for this whole year that you have worked? What is it that you have to show for the hours you've put? Is it stuff? Is it in buying a new couch? Is it in buying a new television set? Is it in buying, new kitchen appliances? What is it that you have to show? Do you have an investment actually to show for it? Consumerism is about dealing with a lot of insecurities that you have. And so the projection of it becomes in you trying to express self. And some psychologists argue that our actions have been driven by a desire for self-completion, and the theory that we seek to bring ourselves to an actual self in accord with our ideal self or who we wish to be. So you'll find that in that apartment that you live in or in your home, so you've been working so hard for your money, and then you feel like, I need to get stuff. So this stuff, it is actually to make you feel, I'm this person. So there's the ideal person that you want to become. And you work so hard for your money. Now, there are these mental pictures which have been created over the years. For instance, you've been told a successful person maybe drives a particular kind of a car. You've been shown they live in a particular house. Their children go to particular schools. And that is the idea of success that we've had. And advertisers are very good at portraying this. And so you'll find that there's an identity crisis when it comes to consumerism, that there's something that you lack within. And that is a concept that psychologists have come to call affluenza. And this is a definition that I'm going to give to you. So the reason why you're going to spend a lot this Christmas could be because of this definition. So affluenza now is the collective addictions, character flaws, psychological wounds, neuroses, behavioral disorders caused or exacerbated by the presence of or desire for money or wealth. In individuals, it takes the form of dysfunctional or unhealthy relationships with money, regardless of one's socioeconomic level. It manifests itself as behaviors resulting from preoccupation with or imbalance around the money in our lives. I might have touched, I wouldn't say they are the wrong buttons. I wouldn't say they are the wrong buttons. But right now, I'm pretty sure you're asking yourself, okay, this is quite interesting. So sometimes the reason why you want to get that particular car is because you saw someone either with it, and you have noticed that maybe people don't respect you because you don't have a car, for instance. And maybe people don't respect you because you're not able to travel around. That is, so it becomes, it's deeper. So it is that collection of addictions, character flaws. So sometimes you feel like, people just don't love me. And when I have money, people tend to love me. It's how you behave around with money. So, for instance, when I go to Christmas and I'm the one who is buying people everything, everyone appreciates me, and that makes you feel good. That could be a character flaw. Now, as we look into the psychology behind the spending, I know you'll be having light bulb moments, and the best thing to do is to take action. And so stick to the end of this webinar, because we'll be getting to look at the practical ways that you can get to, to deal with your spending and have a great Christmas. Also ensure that you have maintained your financial discipline. And if you don't have, you're going to get started. So please make sure that you drop in your fire emoji. And let's see who is here. And there was, I can see Agnes Wanjiku, I can see Joansi Wangari, I can see Waithaka Kinyanjui, I can see Ryan and Kilemi Isaac showing their fire emojis. Please make sure that you drop. And there's a question that we are asking. What are some of the bad money decisions that you've made before, or you're planning to even make this December to either make yourself better or something? So just to carry on with our conversation, because we really need to start with why we see things the way we do. Because true change can only begin when we understand why we think the way we think. So you cannot change the way you see things unless you change how you perceive things. So a good example could be, if you have grown up knowing that you work for money, for you to really understand that money should work for you, you need to have a paradigm shift. And that is where change begins. Now, going back to our conversation on consumerism, so where consumerism began is, it was during the industrial society, industrialization. I know you remember in history we learned a lot of that. And it was created at a time when the owners of these industries needed to encourage people to buy goods, more goods, which was seen necessary for continued economic growth. So like I started off by mentioning, when the government is doing the budget. They say income is equals to consumption, investments, exports and imports, etc. So now the government wanted to increase the income, so they needed to increase consumption. So now, during those days, people just used to survive on the basic needs. So if I'm able to meet my basic needs, then I don't need to have what we call wants. So I need food for today, so that is, I go to work, I'm paid money which is enough to sort out my needs, and then it goes on and on because I don't need to get extra, that's enough for me. And so during this time, the government felt like we need to increase the consumption of these goods. So most of the people how most companies began doing that. So most of the goods belonged to the rich, or you are either rich or you are poor. But now with industrialization, there was the gap was just becoming blurry. So because of that, and now we're trying to create, to increase consumption, so we begin to make goods that for these middle class earners to just differentiate them from people who are earning below. So they are the rich, who everyone looks up to, they form the 1% of the community, and we had brands that showed that. Now, because the middle class income earners, now who are working in the factories and all that, they want to look like them. So you see the basis of consumerism, it is psychological. There are insecurities that are underlying, which is a term we've defined as affluenza. So now these people begin to create substandard goods, or goods which are produced to make you feel like you belong to the rich. And that is how consumerism came to be. Look at the luxury brands that we have. You will hear companies making billions of dollars in revenues, and it is of products which are purely consumerism, based on consumerism. So for instance, there are particular brands that you feel like people will respect you for having that brand, either as a phone, either as a piece of cloth, or even like a brand of a car that you're driving. And these are desires that are created by advertisers. And trust you me, in the next coming years, we'll have much, much more people. Research says that out of, for an average kid, they watch more than 25,000 adverts in a year, in a single year. So tell me how much we've been wired to see and think that way. So right now, I will ask you, by the way, the kind of house that you've always wanted to live in, is it because you wanted to, ama that is the image that has been created in your mind? As scary as it may sound, tonight we'll be finding a solution for it, though we cannot exhaust. Anyway, going back to really understand some of the psychological triggers that make you feel the way you feel about money, we realize that most of these things, they are a character flaw, a neurosis, a biasness that you have. Maybe they are wounds. Sometime you are ashamed publicly, and someone maybe made fun of you, of the clothes that you're wearing. And you decided, from today, hey, people will know me. People will never make fun of me. People will never treat me a certain way. And you decided, so because of that, people must respect me. And how will people respect me? If I wear maybe brands, which are very expensive, if I drive a particular car. And trust you me, Christmas has been designed. Now, there is more thinking from marketers and advertisers when it comes to this particular conversation. Now, maybe I will pose this question to you, because now we have at least an understanding of how the psychology behind consumerism. My question will be to you, what are some of the ways that you think that Christmas has been promoted, or the advertisers are really pushing you to spend more during this Christmas. So let me know in the comment section, and I can see more people are joining us. I can see Moses Adimos with the fire emoji. You can also see Jacqueline Mwangi with fire emojis. So as you tell me how you think that marketers and advertisers are pushing you to consume more, especially in Kenya, if you're not going to Mombasa during Christmas, you're not enjoying. Anyway, let's talk about the common money mistakes that people have actually been making when it comes to Christmas. And I think number one is lifestyle inflation. You will inflate your lifestyle during Christmas. If you don't take a taxi to places where you're going, I trust you me, you're going to take them. And just a disclaimer, as you spend money this Christmas, remember, the salary that you're going to get paid in December should last you until February, when you're going to be paid next. So if you choose to spend vibaya, you're going to have a proper January, a proper one. And so with lifestyle inflation is whereby you're just pushing your expenditure. If you used to, maybe you had a timetable of meals that you wanted to have, you're pushing that. You're supposed to eat beans and rice today. So you decide, it's Christmas. I have suffered myself this year, as many say. And you decide, I'm going to be just taking chunks of meat. And you do that every day, every single day. Like, you will inflate. You didn't used to go out every other weekend, but now this is the time that you need to meet with everyone, and you're spending time with them. You're inflating every single expenditure that you have. If you used to have an expenditure on entertainment of 5,000, now you're spending 20,000. That is lifestyle inflation. And it all starts here. The problem is not how you're spending, it's how you're thinking about money. Another common mistake that people make is neglecting the budgets that you've been following. You've formed financial habits throughout the year. And now, because Christmas is here and you feel like I've made progress, so I'm okay. It's okay to just do it this one time. It's December. You decide, I'm going to blow my money. And you forget the budget that you had. So if you had decided that every month I'm going to be using this amount of money on entertainment, on friends, and all that, you find yourself overspending. But why? It's just Christmas. It's just another month. It's just the last month of the year. Why do you need to do that? Honestly, if you used to go to a park and take a walk, right now you just want to go maybe out, have fun. Why? But ask yourself why. You'll find that the answer lies in those wounds. It's the definition that we've defined, affluenza. And I'm going to read it again. It is the collective addictions, character flaws, psychological wounds, neuroses, and behavioral disorders caused or exacerbated by the presence of or desire for money or wealth. And that's the sad truth. So also, another common mistake that people keep making is impulsive buying. And this goes against the principle of financial independence, retire early, which is delayed gratification. Now, with budgeting, you learn to be frugal with money. That whatever you don't need, you're focusing on your needs, not wants and desires. So throughout the year, maybe you have focused on the wants and then, you've focused on the needs. But now December points to you, by the way, I want that, I want that. Maybe I desire that. There's something that you've desired for a long time. And it's okay. And no one is crazy because of wanting to have those things. But now the question is, does it does it derail you from your financial independence, retire early journey? Does it? So impulsive buying is where you don't know, you don't exercise delayed gratification. So for instance, sometimes when you go shopping, always ask yourself this question: do I need this thing or do I want it? And I think for a long time, since I got to learn about this particular principle, there's a term called Gazinga spin. So Gazinga spin is that item that anytime, ukienda shopping, ama if you send your husband or your dear one or your child or anyone, anytime you send them to go shopping, there's always that one thing that you still will come back with it to the house. And for me, I know it's pastries. Like anytime I just go out shopping, lazima tu nipitie kwa bakery, because the bakery inaniita tu, harufu tu, it's just calling you. Some of you will just go shopping and will command tissue peke, and by the time you're leaving the supermarket, you have a trolley and you're keying items of up to 10,000. Why? And you see, these are financial disciplines that maybe you've developed throughout the year, but this December, you're going to be tried. And we're going to see whether the disciplines that you've acquired throughout the year are going to work or not. So another thing is, you'll find that many mistakes people make during Christmas is overspending on gifts that you feel, and in a particular, next year we'll be covering some of these conversations in a series of webinars to really take a deep dive to question really what is the science behind it. And so just to try and explain why you will feel like you need to overspend on gifts. So if I were to ask you, when was the last time you spent some time with your loved ones, or even you spent some good time with your friends, your family, uko ushago, or something? So now, because you have not made time to either call them more often, you haven't been able to spend time with them, if you're a parent, with your kids, so you will want to feel like you want to give them something that is worth the times that you have neglected them. And so it will be like, so should I get them maybe a property for some, maybe I'm supposed to get them a new one, I'm supposed to just renew their whole wardrobe, like just buy them expensive things. And we tend to overspend on that. So if you do the math, if you are able to go home at least maybe once a month or once a quarter and just have conversations with maybe your mom or your loved ones, or even when you come home from work, take time to spend time with your kids. You wouldn't feel the need, by the way, I need to buy something so that I can buy these people back. And financial independence journey is a journey that you don't want to get to the end, you don't want to get to the destination and feel like you missed everything that you were supposed to enjoy during the journey. It's about the journey, it's about the relationships that you're building, it's about how you relate with people, your own health and all that. So, you know, if you really miss spending time with all these people, you will want to compensate that with spending more money on that. And that also has an effect on your financial goals and also your finances come next year. Because remember, the salary that you need to get paid, that you're going to be paid this December, should last you until next year, February. So this is some of the common money mistakes that we keep making. And we really don't think why we keep making these mistakes. And tonight, I want us we break those cycles. And to start us off, I think to really try and understand what we can do to work on these things, to really ensure that our Christmas is going to be as enjoyable as possible, we can start by just being proactive. You just need to be proactive. You need to take a responsibility for your actions and reactions. So for instance, the reason why you know you're going to spend a lot of money in buying things that you don't actually need. For instance, you want to show people, by the way, I've got the latest phone, I have new clothes, and and the need to feel good about yourself. Because maybe you even bought clothes last month. Why do you feel that you need to get more clothes? So you need to start by really questioning and taking responsibility for your actions. Why you behave the way you behave, and trying to question that. If you have not been spending time with people, you need to take responsibility for that. How you react, you need to take responsibility for that. Because if you don't take responsibility for that, you're going to feel guilty. And some of the ways that you can actually resolve some of these issues, if you have not been spending time with people, you need to just apologize to them and become intentional with spending time with them. Plan your time properly so that you are able to spend time with those loved ones, that you don't have to overspend in buying gifts and doing all these things to just gratify them. If it is your personal life, begin to question yourself and take action about how you feel, about how others treat you, because that is not in your circle of influence. It is just in your circle of concern. And you need to take actions you need to take responsibility for the things that are within your circle of influence. Those things that you can touch on, those things that you can really influence within the space that you're in. And also, remember that you have the power to choose your response to any situation. So if you go to shags, and I know this has been something that most parents have witnessed. So sometimes you will go to shago, and the kids come with their bikes. There are these lavish aunties who will make sure that they have packed everything in the car for the kids to enjoy. And you've seen those popular memes of children looking at a trolley and wondering, what is this? And you as a parent, you're watching the kids play, and your kid actually wants to use a toy that the other child has. And the other kid says no, and their mother or their father says, no, mwachane na yeye, ni zake. How that makes you feel as a parent will determine how you're going to react. You might decide, my kids will never be treated again this way. I'm going to again read the definition of what affluenza is, what that whole idea is. It's the collective addictions, character flaws, psychological wounds, because that's a wound that has been created there. Because of you not having maybe money to buy for your kids, and you just decide, you know what, I'm going to work hard to make sure that my kids are not going to suffer the same. Now I'm here to remind you have a choice to choose and you have the power to choose your response in any situation. Even if people tell you, hey, umetembea hadi hapa, it's okay. If you travel by bus for 8 hours to go where you're going, it's okay. It's okay. You have a choice. Furthermore, it's the money, it's your own financial journey. It's your own financial independence journey that you're working towards. Also, you need to shift from having a reactive mindset into a proactive one. So don't wait for things to happen to you. Make sure that you're proactive. So for instance, you know that you're going to go home to shags and you need to plan. Maybe we'll have hiked prices, but if you book now, you're going to spend less compared to when you go on that day. So these are things that you might be knowing. And when you think about it, you can be proactive enough to ensure that whether you need to fuel, like you have a budget, and budgeting for Christmas is one of the ways that you can be proactive. That you're planning, this is how we're going to spend the time. So that is if you wakati and you're like, oh my God, I did not plan anything for us to do as a family this time round. So what do? Let's go. When you go to the restaurants, they are full. Everywhere it is packed. Maybe you wanted to go to enjoy Christmas outside the city. The places are booked, flights, the prices are high. So being proactive will actually help you, to not to be reactive, because this is what is going to happen and I am in charge. Because being proactive is about being in charge. So also, another thing that you can do is ensure that you begin with the end in mind. So now you know what your financial independence journey entails. You know what is your financial independence number. And for those of you who don't know what financial independence is having assets that generate you sufficient monthly cash flows to meet your needs, wants, and desires. And also, which is the cash flows are going to enable you pursue your purpose, to finance it. And when you know your FI number, for instance, maybe for you to achieve financial independence, you need maybe 500,000 in passive cash flows, maybe from AAA, from real estate, the units that you have with us here in TSAVO. So now knowing that this is my goal, this is where I'm working towards, and nothing is supposed to stop me. And so the discipline that you've acquired over time is that of financial planning. You're very good. You have very articulate plans on how you're going to use your money for the next maybe 15 years. Now, if you know exactly where you're working towards, now when you're working backwards, it doesn't matter what happens. I need to pay myself first every time I receive money. So this December, that is the goal that you have in mind, and you cannot delay your FI, your financial independence journey. So what do? Immediately you receive that amount of money that you're going to, to receive as salary. That amount of money that you're going to receive as a salary. You're going to pay yourself first. You're going to pay yourself first. And when you set aside that money, it means that the rest which is there, because also another principle is that you have to be frugal with the money that you have. Because of that, you're going to minimize your spending, and you will not end up squandering your money in the wrong places. And as one of our fire partners says here, Sam Chalo, if you don't give your money work, be sure that that money is going to find work anytime, any place. And also focus on activities that align with your values and long-term goals. Focus on that purely. So if anything is not aligned, if you feel like maybe doing this is misaligned with where I want to go, just stop. Find alternative ways to get that feeling that you have. So if maybe going on holiday with your friends is going to make you spend more money, just be like, okay, this year I'm not planning to go, or rather, you can give them alternative. Remember, being proactive is about being in charge. So you can tell them, instead of going elsewhere, why not just spend the time home? Let's get to catch up. The kids are all grown up. Let them have time to spend together. Let's cook. Let's have fun. Let's interact. It's been a minute. We've been leading busy lives. And that way, if that aligns with what you're doing, it saves you a lot of stress that will come along with money. And also, remember to share stories with people about your financial independence journey. They say you're an average of the 5 people that you spend most of your time with. So if this Christmas you're going to spend your time with people who don't understand what financial independence, retire early is, please make sure that you educate them. Your family and friends, tell them about financial independence, why they need to, because the time that they will not be having the energy to work, the money will be working for them. And as Warren Buffett says, if you don't find a way to earn while you sleep, you're going to work until the day you die. And so with those very few ideas that we have and insights about how you can actually make a meaningful Christmas, I have a few extra maybe things that I could highlight. These are just bonus points for you. So spending time with your family and friends and kids, you could do some DIY, decorations, just make gifts. Kama ni watoto, they need a toy, and you grew up in the ushago, tafuta wire, tengeneza gari ya wire. That time you will be bonding with your kids, and you will not need to buy gifts to overcompensate for the time that you've not spent with them. Also, just a reminder, review your financial goals with, by you also having in mind the end. With those very few things that we've shared tonight, I hope this is helpful to you. And I can see more people sharing their fire emojis. And it was really, really great to have a conversation with you today. And maybe a few questions that I'm going to leave you with is, you have made bad money decisions before. Or maybe you're even planning to make some during the festivities. So my question will be, how did they make you feel? And what actions did you take after that? And now, on top of that, ask yourself, this year I have worked so hard for my money. What is it that I have to show it for? And if you haven't begun your fire journey, please make sure that you get in touch with us across all our social media platforms. That is TSAVO.ke, across all our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Let's have a conversation and we'll connect you to a fire partner. Or even you can visit our website. It is www.tsavo.ke, and we can get you started on your financial independence journey with us. So that's it for tonight. I hope you'll find this helpful. And if you find this helpful, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and also share to other people so that they become informed as you are tonight. My name is MC Benmigo, the Classic Man, a fire partner here in TSAVO. And I wish you a Merry Christmas and have a lovely night ahead.
And let me tell you today about TSAVO. Now, not TSAVO the way you know us. If you've seen our buildings, that's good. If you've lived in our apartments, that's good. If you've invested with us, that's good. But TSAVO is just not that. We are the bold who change the world. We have bold characters. We have bold TSAVOites who go beyond the measures of what is proven to be possible. And so you have seen the life of TSAVO. The last 8 years, we have shaken the world of real estate. We have gone into the market and just, made what seemed impossible possible. We have brought affordable investments here in Kenya. From as little as 30,000 a month, you can actually own an apartment within Nairobi. Who thought that could be possible? I mean, growing up, we all knew real estate ni ya wale wa juu. Sisi tunajenga ka home ownership. And so we have made that possible. We have shown you that lifestyle can be a different perspective, that you're just not letting into our apartments, but you're getting into a community where you will become something great. And of course, when we start this journey of being great and being bold who change the world, we want you to be part of it. As we celebrate these 8 years of existence, we want you to be part of it. We want you to shake the boundaries and actually make things greater by being bold, and be the bold who change the world. I am Martha Inyuma, and we are the bold who change the world.